the tools for the Windows Phone 8 developers. So the first tool is the Zune software. This is not part of the SDK, which you have to download it separately from the Microsoft Download Center. And if you want to, this software is used to sync all your media files and other things from your Windows Phone to the desktop and the vice versa. And you require this tool if you want to test and deploy the Windows Phone app that you are developing on the device. But if you are using the Windows Phone 8, then you don't need the Zune software to test the Windows Phone 8 app. What happens is your Windows Phone, when it is plugged via USB to your PC, you'll be able to access some of the media files that is already there on the Windows Phone. To show you an example here, I have a new Windows Phone 8 here, and I've plugged my Windows Phone to the PC here. I see a folder called drive called Windows Phone, and I see the list of all the files that is already there on the phone. For example, I see music. There is a folder called music, and inside there is a artist name, and I have a set of music. So to copy your files from your PC to your Windows Phone is very easy now. Just copy it from the desktop, paste it onto the phone directly. And next comes the emulator. As I said, you don't need the actual device, right, to test your apps when you're developing it. So that's where the emulator comes in handy. The emulator will emulate what the Windows Phone device does. The new feature of the Windows Phone 8 emulator is that it appears as a separate network with a unique IP address on its own. And it runs as a virtual machine on the Hyper-V. Hyper-V is something very new in the Windows 8. And then it can only be run from the Visual Studio 2012 or from the Hyper-V Manager. Okay. What all can you do with the emulator? You can test your app on different or multiple resolutions, like the way you saw in the demo, the previous demo, where from the Visual Studio I selected different. I had a list of emulators and I selected one among them. So with this, you'll be able to test across different screen resolutions and on memory constrained devices. This is within the emulator. We saw emulator with only 512 MB. Suppose if I develop an Windows Phone 7 app, 7.1 app, I would have got an option within the Visual Studio to test my app on the emulator that is only of 256 MB. So 256 MB is the basic, right, for the hardware requirement for the Windows Phone 7. With the Windows Phone 8, it's 512. So I have an option to test the app on the memory constrained devices too. And next, I'll be able to emulate the accelerometer and the GPS simulation as well with the emulator. And then I'll be able to change the settings, play around with the themes. I can change the accent colors and do whatever I can do, most of the things in the emulator. And it also has a new tool called a screenshot tool, where suppose if you are submitting your app to the marketplace or a Windows Phone store, you require a set of screenshots to be submitted along with your app. So with the emulator, we have an option to take the screenshot. And the screenshot is also built in natively to your Windows Phone 8. With the Windows Phone 7, there was no native support to take the screenshot directly from the device. So with Windows Phone 8, you'll be able to take the screenshot by just pressing the start key and the power button. So let me show a demo of the emulator here. So what you see here is an emulator of 512 MB RAM, which looks exactly the same like the way how your device looks, right? you'll be able to see the People's Hub or fake GSM network, and you'll be able to browse from the Internet Explorer. But apart from this, there is something called additional tools. When you can hit this arrow mark, which shows you some kind of tools here. So the network, what you see is this Windows Phone emulator has been assigned a separate IP address, and which is again a different device on the network. And then you have a screenshot tool. Suppose if I want to take the screenshot of the current screen that I'm seeing on the emulator, all that I can do is say capture, which will take the screenshot of the current active screen. So I can say save as and then save it locally, and when you're submitting your app to the store, you'll be able to use that to submit it. And then we have this location. When you see this map in the bottom, you have something called Nokia. The new Windows Phone 8 maps are powered by the Nokia maps. So with this location tool, you'll be able to pin the location. For example, I want to pin a particular place on the map. Say I pin this, you'll be able to pin this. It will also get you the latitude and the longitude for whatever the points that you have pinned on the UI. And if I want to export this to some kind of XML file and later I want to use it for on another device, right? I can say save, and then it saves the complete marked points into an XML file. So then I have something called accelerometer, and I'll be able to change the orientation also here. Of the emulator here with the portrait or landscape, and I'll also be able to simulate the accelerometer of the Windows Phone emulator. Just tap on the red point there and then start moving the emulator out. So you'll also get what is the X, Y and Z coordinates, so you can write your business logic accordingly in case if you're using the accelerometer feature of your Windows Phone emulator. Right. Okay. So then now if I want to start an emulator, there are two ways for me to start. One is from the Visual Studio, like the way we saw in the demo, and the other way is opening the Hyper-V Manager. You see that there are already a list of virtual machines that have emulator virtual machines that are already running, and the current running one is this, whatever you see on the bottom. It's emulator WVGA with 512 MB Synthil K, which is nothing but it is like a virtual machine which is running in the Hyper-V for you. So you'll be able to shut down the emulator, or if you want to delete it, and later on when you want to again recreate it, you will be able to do that with the Hyper-V Manager in this case for the emulator. Okay, then we have this WP app manifest file. Every Windows Phone project that you create contains this file. This is like a settings file which says what are the different icons for my tiles that I'm going to use for the app, or what are the capabilities or functionalities that my app is going to use. For example, your app might be using a camera of the phone, right? The user has to be notified about this even before he is downloading it. So those things can be defined in the capabilities section. When the user is downloading the app, you can say, okay, this app is going to use a camera, it's going to use the phone dialer, whether should I use it or not. The user has a clear idea of what are the capabilities that this app is going to use. And this is required when you are submitting your apps to the Windows Phone Store. So you can define that within your Visual Studio. So This is an existing Windows Phone project. So with the previous versions of your Visual Studio and the Windows Phone SDK, this was like a plain XML file where you have to manually edit the XML file, right? So with the Windows Phone 8 SDK and the Visual Studio 2012, you have a nice looking GUI where you can easily add or update the entries here. So when I say double click on this file, which is found in the properties folder of your project, the file name is wmappmanifest.xml. So this basically contains 4 different tabs. The first tab is the application UI, where I can say what is the display name for my application, and I can also define the app icons that this app will how my app will look like when the user is trying to view it in the Windows Phone store. I can define the app icons here. I can also say what are the different screen resolutions that my app is going to support within this particular manifest file, and I can say that different templates that my app is going to use. You can choose any one of this. With the Windows Phone 8, you have a start screen where the user will be able to customize with different icon sizes or tile sizes. So you can define them right here. Say small is when it looks very small like this. Okay. What you see here is a small icon, right? And what you see in the people is a medium icon. And I'll be able to customize it, and this is the large icon here. So if your app needs to support all these on the start screen, then you have to define or add the corresponding images that you're going to support for your app. So then we have something called capabilities. As I already told you, like if your app is using some of the Windows Phone device functionalities, for example a camera or a phone dialer, then you are supposed to define them here, saying that this app is going to use it. If you don't define them here, for example I don't say I have unchecked the phone dialer here, and if I'm using an launcher which launches the phone dialer to dial a number and then call someone, I'll get an access denied error. So to avoid that, I need to define or set this value here. So when I do this, I don't get the access denied error when I'm running and testing the app, or when the user is using the app there. And requirements, this is something new here. If your app is using some of the capabilities like the front camera, and if the device doesn't have that, right, you don't want the user to download that app at all, and you don't want the user to search that app at all from the store. So you say, okay, I check this option saying that only for the devices that has a front camera, let them browse the app and then install. When I check this, the devices that don't have a front camera won't be able to see the app in the store. So and then we have the packaging, which defines the author name, the version number, and other things that you want to define, and the supported languages. So Windows Phone 8 supports close to 50 languages, which is almost double the number of languages that Windows Phone 7.1 supports. So in case if your application is supporting many other languages, you can define them here and add the corresponding resource files and stuffs there. So that was about the app manifest file. So any doubts on the app manifest file? You can go on with the next slides. Okay, then we have this Windows Phone store test kit. Earlier it was called as Marketplace test kit. Okay, you have developed an app and you wanted to submit it to the marketplace, but you are not sure whether if my app follows all the guidelines that is defined in the store, and whether it will be able to successfully be submitted to the store. And if you have that doubts, you can use this tool to test your or evaluate your app as per the store guidelines. So what this store test kit will do is, it will provide you some automated and manual test cases for preparing your app for the Windows Phone Store. For example, it might you might not have the icons for the tiles, right, or images for the tiles. If you haven't defined this and you are trying to submit it to the you're using the test store kit, it will tell you that this app doesn't have the images, or it is using the default images. Please add in proper image for the tiles. And if you haven't defined anything in the capabilities and you're still trying to submit it, right, whatever we saw in the app manifest file, you haven't set the capabilities, but still you're using that in your app. It will also tell you, okay, this app uses these capabilities and the submission will fail. And it will help you to identify and fix issues even before you submit to the Windows Phone Store. So this is how the UI looks like for the Windows Phone Store kit. So if you want to launch the store kit, go to the project, and there is something called Open Store Test Kit. Just select this. So this is the tool that I was talking about, where on the left sidebar you see 3 options here: application details. This is the zap file of your project. There you see. Whenever you build your Windows Phone project in Visual Studio, it creates a zap file and it stores in this particular location. So you will be using this particular zap file to submit it to the marketplace or a Windows Phone Store. So you will be testing the, you will be evaluating it in the Windows Phone Store test kit using this zap file. Okay. So I have this automated test. So what I can do is I can simply say run test, which will ask me to build it. So to use the test kit, you should run your app in the release mode. So I say rebuild. And then I can start the tests. So now I got some information from the tool which says, okay, one of the criteria was successful, but there is something else that is missing, which might lead your app from getting rejected from the store. So quickly, what it says is, one is the screenshots. As I told you, when you're submitting your app to the store, you're also supposed to submit I think 1 or 2 screenshots of your app. So since that is missing here, so I need to go to the project properties or the manifest file and define the screenshots that my app is going to be using it. And the iconography, all the application icons that I'm using is also taken care of here. And these are automated tests. Then there is something called manual tests here. So what this will tell you is, it will give you a set of scenarios. It will say, okay, test name is required app images, and it will give you, okay, you go to your app and verify if all these things are proper in your app. So I can quickly make a checklist, quickly verify my app, and then manually verify everything. Okay, everything is fine. Then I can rebuild the app and then submit it back to the store. So one advantage of using this store kit is, it will give you a clear overview of whether your app will be able to will be successfully be submitted to the marketplace or not. Next we have this simulation dashboard. This is again something new with the Windows Phone 8 SDK. Suppose you want to test your app on no Wi-Fi connection. Suppose if your app is using an internet connection, you wanted to test your app on different scenarios, right? Like, how will my app work when it is in a 2G connection? How will my app look like or work when it is in a 3G connection, or when there is a no Wi-Fi or no internet at all? So what this simulation dashboard does is, you can launch the simulation dashboard again. Yeah, it's here. Again, within the Visual Studio, I say launch. So this gives you three options. One is to enable the network simulation. I can check this, and when I'm trying to run my app, I can say, okay, currently my app, let me test it with the 2G connection. It will use the existing internet connection, and it will try to simulate the speed accordingly based on the options that you have selected here. I can say 3G, or I can say a Wi-Fi network, or no network. I can also say whether the signal strength is good, average, or poor. So this gives me an easier option to test with different networks and signal strength, rather than me worrying about, okay, how will my app work with different networks, right? So this gives us a easier idea to simulate those kind of real world scenarios. And next we have this lock screen. What will happen when my application is running and suddenly the lock screen is enabled? You might have put idle state, right, saying that after 1 minute when the phone is idle, let me enable the lock screen. And if you are performing some kind of operations in the app and suddenly the lock screen comes up, you wanted to test that scenario. So what this does is, you can say, just put a lock screen. So when your app is running, I can enable or disable the I can simulate the lock screen functionality. Say unlock, and when you say unlocked. The last option we have is the reminders. Like the lock screen, when there is some kind of reminders or things that gets triggered on your screen, right? What will happen in those cases to my application? So I can say trigger. So I'll get a reminder on the screen. Okay. Just trigger. So again, the simulation dashboard is again, as I said, it is used to test your app with some real world scenarios based on your network connection and reminders and lock screen. These are the three functionalities that you'll see in your simulation dashboard. The other thing is about the developer phone registration. Okay, so you want to unlock your phone for the development purpose, to test your apps on the device. If you want to do that, first of all, you need a valid developer account, Windows Phone developer account, and you need a cellular or a Wi-Fi connection on your phone. And then we have this tool called developer phone registration. All that you do is connect your phone to the laptop, and then provide your developer account user ID and password. That's nothing but your Microsoft account here, and then click on the unlock or whatever the register button. So once you do that, your phone is available, or it's already registered for you to test your app. You can register up to three of your Windows Phone devices, and if you want to do more, then you have to unregister one of the devices and then register the new device. And you can sideload up to 10 apps on your device. If you want to sideload the 11th app and test it on the device, it will throw you an error saying that already the maximum number of apps are already sideloaded. So you have to uninstall some of the apps, and then you will be able to test your further apps. Sideload is like you want to copy the file onto the device, copy the app, zap file, right? When you develop a Windows Phone app, it's nothing but a zap file. That's a project file, like an exe in other terms. And you want to copy that to a device. In a normal in a Windows Phone, if you are a consumer, if your device is not a registered developer device, the only way for you to install your app is through the Windows Phone store. But as a developer, right, you don't want to develop app, submit to the store and then test it, right? When you're developing the app itself, you want to test the app on the device, how it works. So with this side loading, what you can do is, when you build your app, you get a zap file, you'll be able to deploy that zap file onto the device. So we have another slide on that, like what is the steps for that. So that's about the developer phone registration tool. Next is the app deployment tool. So this tool will allow you to copy the zap file from your PC to your phone. So only the registered phones can be used to copy the files. And if you are deploying the Windows Phone 7.1 apps, for example, when you are creating a project, you said, I want to target the platform Windows Phone 7.1 rather than Windows Phone 8. Then while deploying the zap file, you need the Zoom to be running, or else you'll get an error saying that Zoom is not running. You need to download and install Zoom software. So if I were to see that, this is the Windows Phone developer registration tool here. So I have to unlock the device and I say retry. Okay, I've already unlocked the device, and that's the reason it says a message saying that the Windows Phone device is currently unlocked for deployment. What I can do is I can unregister it and register another device, or else I can unregister and register the same device again. I can register up to 3 devices for my account. So since the device is already developer unlocked, now I'll be able to copy the zap file onto the phone, and I'll be able to test my app even before submitting to the Windows Phone store. So then I have something called, then we have this application deployment tool. So now I can say target device, either it can be an emulator or it can be the actual Windows Phone device, right? So when I say an emulator, I'll select this. Okay, I'll get the path. I go to the bin folder and I say release, and I have this zap file. Zap is it's just a zipped file. When you unrar it or unzip the file, right, you get the list of files that you have used in your project. So all that you need is I need to upload this file to the emulator or a device. So I use say deploy. So it's trying to connect to the emulator. The zap deployment is complete. So when I go to the list of applications, I'll be able to see the new app here. It is Windows Phone App 6. Yeah, the app is here. So there is some kind of error, but you'll be able to see the app when you deploy the zap file. So that's about the tools for the I think net is not there.
It's not there. So how many of you have joined this B.NET Facebook page? Why not others? See, most of you don't know what is the next session, right? How many of you don't know? Join the B.NET Facebook page and you will come to me. And one similar page is there, SQL Bangalore. Go and join there also. Next 19 we have a session, as Vinod told you in the beginning, right? So go there and join it. And did you like these sessions, that 30 minutes? So those who are in the Facebook, means B.NET page, you are a member, go and drop at least one line that what is the best part you like out of these 4 sessions, okay? So it will encourage us and the speakers that they will come again and they will speak something. So that was nice. And wish you again Happy New Year. And just a minute, Lohit will announce something.